So guys, welcome down to Effort Studios. It's Matt Roberts here in Studio 1, which it probably looks cooler at home than it is in reality, or maybe it's cooler than it is in reality than it looks at home. But here we are. The lockdown for me has provided a great opportunity to go through my album a month project that started in, well, first of all in 1997, and then carrying on from 2011. So we did it in 1997, 23 years ago, and then we did it from 2011 onwards. From 2011 to 2014 we physically released the CDs, and then from sort of 2014, maybe 15 onwards, we you know, I'd have this laptop, which you can't see because I've had to wedge the phone to make it stay between a Polymoog and an OBSX up there. And yeah, obviously things would be called in I'm very much a freeform artist, recording in a rush, and we're basically getting around to mixing and mastering every single album we've ever done. We're currently working on Farfisa Funk, which was basically a freeform, crazy, not really song-based, more, well, as it says on the tin, funk-based. So it's kind of, I guess it's like, it was a friend once said, maybe Prince getting it on with Boy George, getting it on with just whoever's getting it on with whoever. So yeah, we're just going through the songs and giving them a bit of a mastering treat. So it's very much a drum machine led. On this one we added the other week, I had some crazy Burns guitar. Basically the whole concept for the album is every single song has something to do with Farfisa organs. Completely crazy. I don't think any other person's ever released a Farfisa album or a Farfisa related album. So this one's called Compact Love because he had the compact duo. And is a compact love. It's very crazy. I get lonely, what I need is a compact. I get lonely, what I need is a compact love. Don't wanna go on social media, wanna read a book. Oh, I'm saying I don't want to go on social media, I want to read a book. But here I am on social media, showing you the mix, or showing you the mastering process. So yeah, so what we're doing is, now we've been this was a period when we were mixing in the box. Effort Studios, we were completely mixing in the box. We weren't coming out of the box, but I'm coming out of the box just to put it through a stereo compressor, an SC4. This is very interesting stuff. I don't know if anyone's watching this, but here we are. This is the making of, or the mixing and mastering of the Farfisa Funk album. It's totally crazy, completely and utterly nuts. Well, that's just the way we like it. Hi Derek Clark, you know about my love of Farfisa. So in January 2015 we made an album called Farfisa Funk. There's going to be, we're doing one every single month from then to now, so you can imagine the backlog of stuff that I've got to go through. Some, you know, some good songs, some interesting tracks, some cul-de-sac affairs, you know, all the rest of it. You just, so let's have a listen. I get lonely, what I need is a compact love. A bit hot. So we're mixing back into Pro Tools, so basically creating myself a stereo WAV file, which I can then upload to SoundCloud, having it gone through the stereo compressor, because I can't afford to get these mastered by a proper mix master engineer. But if anyone's got any FS Studios questions, I'm quite impressed that the Wi-Fi is working here in the Studio One. It's probably still a little bit hot. Still a little bit hot. So we're just going to turn around and make it not a little less hot, because you've got to make them all sit well together, which is if you are just joining this, hello, hope you're okay. Hello Darren Powell. So we just we're mixing the Farfisa funk album, which is just totally bizarre and totally nuts, and it'll be interesting to see if it gains any fans. They're not really songs, they're more tracks. More tracks here at FS Studios. I'm looking for any other albums out there that I thought it'd be fun to go live. Okay, we've got the level pretty good there now. Hello Jason Philip Broder, how you doing? We're still on the album a month project, and we're mixing and mastering mastering albums, starting with the one that should have come out in January 2015 but didn't, and it only getting around now in the lockdown to going through these sprawling things, and there's some absolutely nuts stuff, ranging from nice songs you can play on guitar to tracks that like these ones here, which are just nuts. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've recorded this one a bit hot. Hopefully not. Oh, you can hear. Yeah, it's nuts. So the compact duo was probably the most famous Farfisa, which was the one that Pink Floyd used, the compact duo in 1966, 67. Oh, 66, I'm making a reference there to it. So for those of you that don't know, Farfisas were an Italian combo organ made in the 60s and 70s, and I've got a particular love of them. I just really dig them. Hello, Rebecca, how are you doing? All people missing the days of the Snug and Artisan Tap, classic days. In fact, a lot of these albums were made there, and they were just made in a very kind of rushed way, and you listen back to some of them and you think, oh my god, what was I doing? Or there's moments of inspiredness, some songs came out of it. So all of these will be available on SoundCloud. In fact, there's going to be a SoundCloud per album, so I'm hoping that I'll get away with that. I shouldn't say about that, because I'm basically going to be setting up emails just to make another SoundCloud under another email. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. That's totally nuts. So there we go, that was a song called Compact Love. Got another one here called 1966 Fate. If you just joined us, this is a sprawling live. We're going to be going live about in about 6:30, music, singing live, all down here at Studio One at FS Studios. But we've gone live because we can. You've joined me on the mixing and mastering, more than mastering, because I've kind of mixed it already, of the Farfisa Funk album, which is a bizarre album. I didn't put out. I did in January 2015. It didn't really contain any songs. It was just a series of strange meanderings, which is the real freedom of being an independent artist and just going for it and not worrying too much what people think, you know, if they think it's, you know, being able to go up that cul-de-sac and, you know, and if it's not to someone's taste, you can there's always an album that is, and you can experiment. So this one's called 1966 Fate. Let's see what's going on with this. I believe this is just an instrumental. Let's have a listen. It is. I quite like that one. But this one, just to break down 1966 Fate, we've got guitar there on the left. We've got another guitar for a flanger, and we've got some kind of, in Pro Tools LE8 there's an instrument called Expander 2, and we've got this playing Beneath the Waves, Bright Pads and Electric Piano, CP80 hard layered, and that's the entire. Do I feel that I've grown as since 2000? Yes and no. I mean, I've had some probably some good moments, some, as all will be revealed in these album a month sessions, you'll see some really terribly lean periods when my mind was on other things and really had to, you know, really could have done with focusing a bit more, but it's only the freedom of not rushing around all the time. And a lot of these albums were made under the thing of rushing round, which was so a lot of the times they'd be recorded on the road or in the backstage area of places, or, you know, I'd put an acoustic guitar down to a click track. But this is quite a nice, I'm quite liking this one, 1966 Fate. No idea where this was recorded or. We're bouncing them back, so I'm coming out of the box to go through an old Mackie 2482 desk, which has got a stereo compressor SC4 on the master bus, which is why I'm coming out and going back in my twee attempts at mastering this thing. So 1966 Fate, let's have a listen. So there we go, that was 1966 Fate. We'll save that and move on to, but in answer to your question, in some ways I've grown, and in some ways I've, you know, I'm not quite, I'm a bit more lazy, which is a terrible thing to admit. And you know, it's time and focus that allows you to, you know, get into something or not, and obviously having this time off, very atmospheric. Yeah, thank you, Jason Broder. I mean, I think most of the Farfisa Funk album, if I'm giving it an honest review, is kind of semi-pseudo, like I said at the start, Princey wanks with some Farfisas and some craziness going on of not having to worry too much about, because it was the first album of the year. You know, I can imagine it as every year. I don't know what it'll be like this next January, but you've just done a crazy, you know, crazy collection of months, and you just want to let go and be crazy and do a load of nut stuff. So we've recorded all these albums on Pro Tools LE8 and Logic 9. If you're just joining us, you're joining Matt Roberts here at Effort Studio, Studio One. Have you considered taking a producer role or taking a commission for ads and video games? Yeah, I would do. I mean, you know, I've been really honest. If I'm a little bit unfocused, or very unfocused, so it's just a case of, you know, trying to focus. You know, it's all a million miles an hour. Craziness is good. Thank you, Derek Clark. So this one is called Farfisa Funk Part 2. I've got a feeling this is a oh baby and then kind of vibe going on here. Let's see what it is. Farfisa Funk, the mixing mastering sessions. Here we go.
This is an album that I did for a day.
So I just at the start of this song, I said this is an album that I did for a dare, and whether you like it or not, I don't care.
It's by 2. I had to drop this album. I'm so into you. I got bumped up that jewel. One thing I believe.
So it's basically me rapping about all the Farfisas that I've got. That's what Farfisa Funk Part 2 is. Then the only song that's actually available in the wider public domain at the moment is the
Farfisa Funk. Yeah, I'm so into you. I'm never gonna die. 87 and this is heaven. 87 and this is heaven. Get like a letter in my collection.
and that's me rapping about how I'm singing through a U87 and this is heaven. So yeah, you can get the general gist of
This is an album that I did for a day.
so this for example,
I don't care. It's called Farfisa Funk. And this is part 2.
so that's
I
a
had to drop this album. I'm so into you. Farfisa Funk. It's part 2.
okay, we recorded it a little too hot there, so we have to take it back down a little bit because we're mixing back into Pro Tools. I can master within Studio One. Oh, is that a program, Derek? I know. I mean, I'm not very. You know, to be honest, I can master in Pro Tools. I've got lots of things I can use for mastering, but I'm not. You know, it's about using your ears. But when it's a throwaway, not saying this is a throwaway album, but when it's an album that it's just a bit of fun. This album, as compared to some of them which are more song based, I wouldn't want to. It's an album I did for a dare. Farfisa Funk. So yeah, mastering's never been my strong point. That's 1 and that's 3. I've got it right here. You can't see it. There's my knee is kneeling on a Farfisa.
87 and this is 87 and this is heaven. Get like a letter in my collection. In my room and I don't mind. Someone else out, baby. Come on.
So it's like yeah, so here we are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me, Derek Clark. We're going to be so putting it down now, sending it back through. Oh. And we're still a little bit hot. That's why I have to keep starting it. Because we don't want to put it back through too hot, because otherwise when people play it back on SoundCloud, and obviously yeah, it'd be amazing. Oh, Derek Clark. Hi, Gav. How are we doing? We're just you joined me in the mastering, the mastering of the Farfisa Funk album, which was a throwaway album I made in January. I shouldn't say throwaway. How's Lloyd North? Which was just me kind of vamping out really and having a bit of fun and playing around with drum machines and things like that, which was I'm just watching this thing here because it's going into the red here and there, not too many peaks. Just trying to get it on that level of... Yeah, so we're doing Farfisa Funk, part 2. How are you all doing today? Welcome to Effort Studios. Here we are. We've never broadcast from here before. This is, we are literally in Studio 1. I'm in the control room here. It's the downstairs bit of Effort. Through that door there is all the Farfisas, and which is quite ironic because we're doing it apart from this one here, which you can't see. But yeah, I'm mastering through a Joe Meek, and we're just mostly a throwaway album of yeah, a lot of this stuff is very kind of rappy, sort of princey, kind of fun, just that's me making a reference there to various friends of mine who said there's no point making albums a month because unless it's absolute quality, what's the point? But it depends what kind of artist you are. I'm very much a you know, it's just saying, yeah, I've got to get this out of my system. I'm a freeform artist. I just throw a load of mud against the wall, and that's how I get good songs. And then some of it's just, you know, you're just doing stuff. And other people don't put anything out unless it's absolutely perfect. Whereas I'm one of these people who'll just let stuff, you know, go out as it is. Well, that ended in a crazy situation. So that was Farfisa Funk Part 2. We're saving that. So we've done Compact Love. Fats 2, which is Fast 2, which is another make of Farfisa. So the whole album of Farfisa Funk, it's basically every single song is a reference to another model of Farfisa. There's there's two interesting songs on this album. A Roman Girl Meets an English Boy, and The Ghosts of a Club Act, which is basically singing about when people went to work in men's clubs with Farfisas, and that was their back-in. They were self-contained acts in working men's clubs, which I always found quite fascinating. That whole thing of when people were using combo organs seriously. I mean, you know, people do use them seriously to a degree. Hello, Mick Smith. Yeah, I hope you're all okay. What's everybody been up to today? But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm having an interesting time revisiting lots of things, and we're mixing. Up, yeah. This is fast too. Everybody get up, yeah. I'm coming for you. Even if you're feeling lonely. So this is some kind of drum loop on track 1. Bass on track 2. Some guitar recording, just some absolutely nuts. Yeah, that is the Farfisa. A little bit more reverb to that Derek Clark. There we go. Yes, and this is fast too. I got an unauthorized payment up in here. But when so it's totally nuts again. Just doing a bit of refining Well, we almost lost you there.
Even if you feel depressed,
This is fast 2.
I got a present for you.
Yeah, so it's a lot of these times when you're doing this stuff, it's kind of doing something for the sake of doing something. So that's probably on every single album. There's a couple of sound tracks.
Even if you feel depressed, yeah, I got a present for you. Even if you're feeling down, yeah,
This is fast 2.
green into blue. Even if you've had enough, yeah,
Yeah, so it was quite a sort of hello, Brian Hall. If you just joined us, this is a really self-indulgent live where I'm mastering and mixing my sprawling album a month thing. There's one every single month. There's going to be a SoundCloud for every single album, and that's a lot of albums, all different styles, or at least one of 3 or 4 styles. And we're just doing a mix out of Pro Tools through a Joe Meat compressor. I'm back into it here at Studio One. We're mixing through some 1979 Tannoy Reds and these things, the horror tones, which you can see up there, or the Oreo tones. They're not the horror tones, that's what they were nicknamed. Doing a lot of lives today. I think I'm doing I think Michael Green's interviewing me tonight. I can't remember exactly what. So we're going to put this down because Matt Young, how are you? Very talented man. Hey Matt Young, you're the future of rock and roll. How are you all doing? So are you all doing creative stuff? I'm going through my album month project, starting in January 2015, working on an album called Farfisa Funk, which was, well, to be honest, it was a slogan just banded around jam nights at the time, you know, which was just funky kind of Minneapolis-inspired music with Farfisas in. Does anyone even know what a Farfisa is? Have you ever had a Farfisa? Do you like Farfisas? I'm just blowing the dust off my tape machine here. So yeah, we're here at FL Studio One, on mixing off a MacBook Pro. It's from about 2011, using Pro Tools LE8, which is the preferred recording thing. These things behind me are the Vortexion Valve 4-channel mixers, which look cool and sound cool when used right. Quite hummy if you don't have them done up properly though.
Hey everybody, this is fast 2.
I think I've got all the Farfisa fasts. There's a fast 1, a fast 2, a fast 3, fast 4. Was there a fast 5? One of them I don't think I've got. There's one I haven't got in the Farfisa collection. And this whole album is just, it's still with me. Ask me some questions about all this. This is my trusted Mackie 2482 desk from the 90s, which John Leckie famously mixed the Seahorses, not on this particular desk, but on these desks in the 90s. But I mean, this and the Soundcraft Ghost, as you were going desk-wise, were kind of like the last desk you could get that was a semi-pro desk. It wasn't ever really a pro desk. And well, I mean, I love this one. I've got 2 of them. This is downstairs. We've got one upstairs that belonged to a smoker that is just crackly as hell, but I love it because I just can't let anything go. But this is the original one I bought from Colin Ross about 2003. This has done a lot of albums on this. Not that we're mixing through any of the channels really. There we go, that was fast 2. But I hope that I'm not sending a, just turn these off, I haven't sent a a microphone send through sends 1 and 2, thus recording me waffling on, which wouldn't be cool. So that's Fast 2. Now we've got a song called Fast 3. This is absolutely riveting stuff. The Farfisa Funk Live, celebrating the Farfisa Funk album, which is semi-worth celebrating, but only just. But we'll put it up on SoundCloud and let you have a think. And anyone else mixing albums on this lockdown, or what are you doing? Any other musicians out there? Anybody really interested in stuff? What do you like? How do you record? Most people just record in the box these days. That's their area. I'm a bit sort of, when I came into recording, it was the 90s, so it was all very much 4 tracks and 8 tracks and things like that. So I wonder what Fast 3 is going to be. It's probably going to be the same as Fast 2. Similar kind of, it looks very much the same layout. Here we go. There we go.
You've heard Fast 2, now it's Fast 3.
Yeah, indeed. You've heard Fast 2, now it's Fast 3.
Blues progression.
In a minor key. I think we're in G minor.
Here's the turnaround. It's a song called Fast 3. What's the meaning of this album?
What is the meaning?
Is it worth the things about it? I don't know.
Oh, that's great. Well, Derek, I think you should put out the... Oh, I see, this is a bit more interesting, this track. It's sort of turning me on a little bit more. You should you should put out a Derek Clark library of all your... You should put them all up. You should create any way to put them online so everyone can hear them, which is basically what I'm doing. Because if I don't do this, quite frankly, no one else is going to do it. So, yeah, you should put your...
You get lonely, I'll get to what you gonna do. Maybe you have heard it all before.
We'll put that one down. Fast 3. Hello, Dwayne Samuel. So here we are, joining me, Matt Roberts, in Effort Studios, Studio 1. I've always been, no matter what crazy, chaotic situation my studios have been in, from home with my parents to when I was in town to out here in the middle of nowhere, I've always had named different rooms, Studio 1. But this is, we're in the sort of we're in the entrance hall really, and the downstairs studio. Because there's 2 here. There's 3. There's one upstairs above me, and there's another one, a little editing suite to the right, and a soundproof live room at the back of the place as well. But we got the best. We're a bit hot again here. We're just gonna pull it all back down.
You got the other. Everybody's in the place.
I think this is going to be a fairly hotly mastered album, but yeah, it'll feel good to do this because all of this stuff's been just languishing on hard drives, and it's out there, and then it's out. If I put it out, get it out for people to, the 2 or 3 people who are interested, they can sort of watch. They can watch. Fast 3. What is the meaning of this album? Well, the meaning of this album was, for the sake of doing it, which is a buzz phrase called Farfisa Funk, which was a style of music. This doesn't look like it's got much Farfisa on it, actually.
Me every day. Yeah, you're electric, my electric dreams. Oh, baby, you always make me scream. You got no other.
Fast watching this. We're going to be doing a live at about 6:30, probably from here. This is basically a G minor blues progression. Coffee table albums, they're just albums that are in the supermarket. Wouldn't it be great if Farfisa Funk became a coffee table album? It would be absolutely hilarious. Wow, that was fast. What was that? Fast 3. What have we got here? Mandata. So the Farfisa Mandata was one of their another budget. This one's called Mandata is King. Thank you for tuning in. It's anyone who's been watching the whole time. This is such an indulgent live. Just basically an album of songs all about various bits of Farfisa. 7 of my recordings are on the Cherry Mead. Oh wow, Derek. Well, that is excellent. That's fantastic. That really is. That's a testament to yourself, and it must be hard for you at the moment because obviously there's no live work around, and it's just crazy. But that is really good to know that because you make a lot of effort for everybody, Bedford Esquires and the whole thing. This looks like to be this looks like to be some kind of instrumental, which could be. I think there's a few instrumentals on it. Mandata is King. Oh no, it's not. It's got some vocals on. I think this was recorded in the back of stage somewhere. That little jump comes when I know religion. I know peace. I see religion. I see religion. Yeah, that's a fascinating one. Mandata is King, and so that would have been probably the story behind that song. Would be I'd have picked a Farfisa Mandata up on the way to a gig, and then had my laptop on me, set it up backstage somewhere, and just played it, and then. It's a little bit hot. We're just going to take that back because I've called it a little tiny bit too hot back in. Let's just have a little look. Mandata is King. Comes in with a bit of a. You can hear that when I press down on the. That's what the Farfisa Mandata sounds like. It's one of their more cheap models. Mandata is King. This is nuts. Yeah, Mandata is King. This is a more. It's one of my more favoured songs on this collection of songs. If you are just joining us, you are joining me, Matt Roberts, here at FS Studios in a secret location not far from Bedford, UK. Well, probably about 10 miles outside Bedford, UK. And we're working on one of the album a month projects, and we've landed in. Oh, it's still too hot. We've landed in January 2015. We're working on an album called Farfisa Funk. which is a crazy.
Every time I need you,
Totally nuts. Well, that's how we like it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have done that before, Derek. They were good old days. I mean, you know, turning up at jam nights, having just. I can't really do that anymore. Well, one, for no money coming in, and two, no space. And you know, I've been very lucky over the years. I've picked up most of my Farfisas for not silly amounts of money. It got a bit silly towards the end. You know, you're kind of paying £500 for one of the rarer ones that wasn't even in a fully working state. But I think the Farfisa Professional Duo was the last one I bought, which is the last Farfisa I bought. And this is still too hot, so we're taking it back down. Thank you for joining me on this whole journey of mixing and mastering. We're not really mixing, we've already done the mix, we're just sort of mastering and leveling it off. But yeah, really lovely to have some people watching. This really is an indulgent live, if there ever was one. Or is it still a bit too hot? There's a bit of headroom in Pro Tools when you peek back in. Matt Bedford, just the man. We are here mixing and mastering the Farfisa Funk album, and bizarrely we've got the Wi-Fi working in Studio One, so I can go live. Hey, how you doing? I think you're actually on this album, the Farfisa Funk. I think you might have even coined the phrase, the Farfisa Funk phrase. It could have been a Matt Bedford phrase. I'd just like to say, if for free, like I'm doing these, I'm putting every album a month up on, and creating a separate email and making a SoundCloud account relevant to whatever the album's called. If I could do it all on Spotify or iTunes, believe me, I'd put them all up there, but I don't think you can do it for free, and some of them don't massively. Oh no, Mandatory is king.
Mandatory is king. Mandatory is king. Everybody sing. The mandatory is king. Everybody sing. The mandatory is king. Everybody sing. The mandatory is king.
So what we're doing, Matt, we've mixed in the box, but we've come out into a stereo pair into the thing, and we're going into a stereo compressor, and I've also mixed all the tracks unmastered as well, so I could. There's a version unmastered and a version mastered. So I think we're going to be. I'm going to be doing a lot. I think I'm doing a. I think Michael. Don't know what's going on. I think Michael Green's interviewing me tonight. Or I'm joining his live. Because he's got a new album out. Matt's doing a lockdown album. That's a shout out to that. Matt Bedford, looking forward to hearing that. This is a real geek live, which I might put on YouTube. The mastering of the Farfisa Funk album. The Farfisa Mandita. You had the Mandita and the Mandita R. And the Mandita R. Speaking of working men's club, there's Nick Alexandra, who was an agent. I think you're still an agent, Nick. Yeah, I would love to go to a working men's club with a Farfisa. I would love. I think one of the funniest things, or the coolest, most iconic things I saw, I was doing a working men's club in Sheffield, and they still had an organist, and I went live, and this guy was great. He was just completely underappreciated. Had been the organist in this club for years. In fact, there's a song on this album actually called "The Ghost of the Club Act," which is basically saying about. It was inspired by I bought a Farfisa piano, which Kraftwerk used, in fact. It was like an electric piano before pianos were out, transistor thing. And the guy, it obviously belonged to this guy. It came with his bag, his music, some manuals, some brochures to Farfisas, and his little mic stand. And he used to obviously sit there and play in working men's clubs singing songs. It was the most beautiful thing ever, and I kept his little bag. It was his whole story. Oh, there we go. So there we go. There's Mandatory is king. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that whole thing. So yeah, the Ghost of the Club Act. Here we go. So this is an interesting one. So this is exactly what we were just talking about when people were in working men's clubs with combo organs, particularly Farfisas or anything Elkas, and they had these things and were trying to do solo spots with them. Beyond genius, absolutely great. And yeah, I've just, because I'm trying a bit of a mastering thing, otherwise I could have just ripped these out of the box. So I'm doing a bit of mastering in a kind of semi Mickey Mouse way. You know, I'm just going to have a crack at it, and then I'm going to put them all up on the on SoundCloud. Let's add a bit of compression to this bass. The Mandatory Kings. This is the Ghost of the Club Act. If I remember, this one's actually pretty cool, but let's have a listen. Oh, actually, here we go. That was a... I'll have to get rid of that first of all. There was a... I did a wedding back then in sort of 2015. I had this Spanish track, which was some in-house thing that everybody loved at the time, and somehow it ended up in the file list on all my recordings at the time. Oh yeah, with the house organist, Derek. I know, it's just great, isn't it? So this is the Ghost of the Club Act. Let's see what this is doing. Oh, this is cool.
I get in my car at 5:30 at night, then I drive through the snow.
It's a storytelling song, this one.
Alright. I get to the club at 7:30, and I know that this night is gonna be for me. I see the committee man. I say, my name is James.
James.
I know you like my music and you feel the same. I am the ghost of the club act. I am the ghost of the club act. I've got my Shaw Unidine B.
Sure, you dime me.
My drummer and my organist, they're following me. They will play till the crowd all dance. And everybody feeling my kind of romance. I'm the ghost of the club.
I think there's one where I actually say your name, Matt. It says, Matt Bedford, what you got to say? Farfisa funk. I think you're on that one, but you might have helped with this. I don't know. I can't quite remember, but I'm going to give you... You are on the Farfisa Funk album, and in the credits on the SoundCloud, I'm going to do all the credits and try and work out what you were on. But you were definitely on Farfisa Funk. We're going to put this one down. This is quite cool. So this one's talking about leaving your house at 5:30. Not that I ever did that, to go and play a working men's club. Sorry if you're an agent, but yeah, it always, you know, get there. I know it's so long ago now, 5 years. Hi, Michael Green, new album out today. Yeah, I'll give you, you know, Matt Bedford, Michael Green, you've all been here at various points in this journey. But yeah, this song's about basically going, having your Farfisa, turning up as a soloist in 1978, you know, been about, you know, 38, 40 years old. You're kind of turning up at the club in 1978, you've got your organ, you might have a rhythm box, you've basically got to do traditional songs and then try and play, you know, try and be trendy and play some song, all on your Farfisa, and the committee man coming up at the end of the night going, that were right good, that were. Oh, you didn't play the encore, we're knocking off 50p. You know, so that's what this song, The Ghost of the Club Act, all the club acts that have lived and died. Here we go.
Feeling alright. I get to the club at 7:30, and I know that this night is gonna be for me. I see the committee man. I say, my name is James. I know you like my music and you feel the same. I am the ghost of the club act. I am the ghost of the club act. I've got my Shaw Unidine.
Shaw Unidine B is a mic that everyone has in the 70s.
They're following me. They will play to the crowd.
So there I'm talking about when you turn up at a working men's club and it was singing to an organist and a drummer.
I am the ghost of the club act. I am the ghost of the club act. Well, everybody, we put to a band that plays music that we don't like. But it's Christmas, and we're gonna have fun anyway.
So that was a little reference to my drummer who played a gig in 1978, and when he got to Bletchley Working Men's Club and started playing, in the middle of the set, the guy got on the stage and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we've booked a band that plays music that we don't like, but it's Christmas, so we're going to have fun anyway." So what this song's about, and the ghost of the club act, there you go. So I used to love going to work in men's clubs, going in the loft, and basically trying to find an old club journal or something. It's a whole art, you know. 78, 79 was probably the absolute peak of clubland, certainly in the north. This one's a Roman girl meets English boy. So this is obviously some kind of thing to do with, you know, sexy Roman girls dressing up and fucking and battling around with English boys. It's something like that, pretty sure. Can't quite remember. Some people still watching. We've nearly done the whole album now, and then we're going to go live and sing some songs. I'm the ghost of the club act. We're downstairs. I haven't even turned the power on upstairs today. We are completely and utterly downstairs. Smelling fresh. We got it semi-organised. I don't know, there's Farfisa Funk, maybe Ghost of the Club. There's 2 or 3 numbers on this album that are half decent. So we've already had that drum mix. That's a DMX.
She wants to play with him as a special toy. Well, she challenges him to a fight.
Oh, here we go. So this CP here, that's a real CP80, and I put that on the other day, so I've been adding a few things to these tracks.
He doesn't accept, so ended where the guy sees him. He knows the reason, he's up on trial for high treason.
So this is a song about been up on trial for high treason in Roman times, and the only way you're going to get out of it is to battle the Roman girl. Well, so that's what this song is all about, I think.
A Roman girl meets an English boy.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating.
There's a special toy. Well, she challenges him to a fight.
I can't actually. This is. I'll tell you what the influence is here. It's a guy called. It's a guy called Joe Jackson. It's like the Night and Day album, which you should check out, Matt, if you're still watching. Joe Jackson, Night and Day. Just the incredible insert picture. In fact, the song Stepping Out. Check out Stepping Out, which you probably already know, which has like a dum 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 bum 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 bum. It's like a sequencer. I think it's a CR78 hooked up to a sequencer. Yeah. This is completely nuts, this music. Yeah, so this is quite an interesting track. I mean, I'll say there's probably 2 or 3 tracks on this Farfisa Funk album that really deserved to get made, but yeah, this looking forward to having I think the Farfisa Funk SoundCloud should be live at some point in the next 10 hours. And Farfisa.
Roman girl meets an English boy.
The Roman girl.
A Roman girl meets an English boy.
Also, there's some Adamant going on in here, and quite a few influences.
Say it, girl. Well, I ain't got a lot, but what I got, you know I'm
2 people watching still. This is a sprawling live. Thank you. Who are you watching? Derek, is that still you? I found a great way to rip Facebook lives and put them on YouTube. Yeah, it's kind of Tube by Army-ish.
It's an English girl.
I don't know what. That could be a Jupiter 6. I don't know what that was. So we saved that one. We've almost VIP 400. We might have already done this one. We might have done them all. Might be the end of the Farfisa Funk live, and then we're going to go live and sing some songs. You know, the usual gig around about this time. VIP 400. Yeah, we've already done that one. Ghost of the Manager is King. Farfisa Funk Part 2. Compact Love. Yeah, we have actually done them all. So there we go. We've done all the Farfisa things, and yeah, very, very crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, you know, getting involved with this whole thing. I'm going to be probably, I don't know, I'm going to be trying to get, you know, it's going to be a lengthy process, because some of these albums a month, you know, if I was having a particular not really on it point, they've got one song, so I've got to, you know, I might be in November 2015 with an album that's got one song on, so I've got to basically make songs and then put them on an album that came out then. So yeah, that's really kind of but yeah, I'm looking forward to having all these albums up online so people can just listen to them and make of them what they will, you know. And there's some good stuff and some rubbish, but it's good rubbish, and it's all part of the elixir of life and the elixir and the fabric of what we do here at Effort Studios. So yeah, thank you for watching. This has been the Farfisa Funk mixing mastering session. Danny Young, you're the future of rock and roll. You've come in at the end. There's some albums coming up on this album a month project that feature both Matt Bedford, Michael Green, Danny Young. You know, the Say Before You Cry album, which was a 2018 album, we're going to put that out as one of the months, so that'll have its own SoundCloud, the Say Before You Cry. Numerous times I've done stuff with Matt. Hi Mel, how are you doing? You've just missed a sprawling live, me waffling on, playing 2 good songs in a January 2015 album mastering session. But I'm going to move the phone around now, set up a microphone, maybe play the MG17 or dig out another guitar and then sing you some songs. Ah, oh, bless you, Matt Waffles. Yeah, I love a good old Waffles. Do you like my my Vortexion mixers? Oh, yeah, I'm so alone, but I got my Vortexion mixers and a tape machine I bought in '92. There you go, tape machine '92. There's the Mac G3 from that's from 1997. I was talking with Rupert about that today. So yeah, there we go. So thank you for watching the Farfisa Funk. Farfisa Funk, yeah, Farfisa Funk's a very 80s album. I do love the 80s. Farfisa Funk, I got all that junk. Da-dum, da-dum, no-dum. Dan Luca, how you doing? You're a synth man. Check out my 20-minute Polymoog opus. Rather proud of that. Although I've just discovered the Polymoog down here today. It's still got a couple of faults on, but yeah, I really like the downstairs studio. If anyone who's ever been here, Matt, I don't know if you're watching still, but it's really come into its own in this lockdown. The downstairs studio, it's still crazy, which yeah, in fact maybe I can end this live with a little show of what's going on down here in the downstairs studio, because it are still live. So I'll unplug the phone now. So stepping back, been mixing through those big tannoys, and you've got obviously 106 and OBSX, Polymoog, not an Elgum. It is we should do. Adrian's all right. I speak to him quite a bit. He's my main man. That's not an Elgum. That's a that is an Elgum. Is that an Elgum? Yeah, it's basically. I remember picking this up, and it's an Elgum. And then this is great down here, which is a Yamaha. And then round the whole building, you've got which really I shouldn't be showing you this. You've got an A80 24 track. Buried here, an A80 8 track, which I need to unearth that, which is terrible. I'd be fired from the BBC. I've got an A84 track there. It needs to be unearthed. Round there's an LM1 Mini Moog micro preset, an 1887 Steinway, my first ever Fender Rhodes. And I don't think it's going to go that far, but through this door here, you've got an A8 there, which is a 1981 8 track. So Dieter Von Teese. And through there is all the combo organs, which you can't see, but it's like a hallway there. There's a Hammond in there, and yeah, it's this is a Studio One, and then loads of toys on top of the Fender Rhodes over there. So yeah, Studio One is really, I like it down here, and that's where I've been broadcasting, on that little cramped section down there. That's where I've been sitting and waffling on for the last 40 minutes. This is a great machine, which is we're way off Farfisa funk now. Oh, here's a Farfisa, by the way. That's a Farfisa fast. I'm going to say a fast 4. Yeah, fast 5, fast 4. And there's two new reels of 1/2-inch tape. Over here I've got some new reels of 1/4-inch tape. But it's a bit of a jumble. And there's me in 1997. I can't believe there's still people watching this. It's really lovely. 2-track machine here, recorded to that quite a bit, which is good. So anyway, so that's pretty much Studio One. I could almost move the phone into position of where I'm going to be on the next live, which I'm going to go straight live and sing some songs. There's an MTR 90 down there, and then this is the double bass in the corner, and that's the way upstairs. So down here is there's a drum kit down here as well. It's a self-contained studio, and yeah, I really love it. I really enjoy playing my Polymoog. If you can ever get to have a go and get a real Polymoog and get one that works or half works. Hi Al. Then we've done a massive waffle live feed, mixing the whole Farfisa funk album. And yeah, so yeah, Polymoog's great. We're just showing people around Studio One. There's the narwhals thing. My dinosaur I got in 1987, and I went round Germany going, nobody loves me but my dinosaur, and that was the dinosaur in 1987. There's Arnie, early teddy bear. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be live again in a minute when I've worked out what guitar. Melanie Quinn. Well, when the lockdown's out, I got this today, Taken 2 on Blu-ray. And here, do you want to see this? Look, this is a disgrace to Queen and Country, or King and Country. That's a World War I bugle. That's the most musical thing I can do. Yeah, I went through a phase of loving bugles, I'm really waffling today. There's the security camera of upstairs. I always look at this and I always think I'm going to see a ghost up there. I'm going to see a ghost. One day I'm going to be looking at that and I'll see someone upstairs. I'll be here on my own. It's quite spooky here at night. We are literally in the middle of nowhere. It's just like, okay, right. We're going to say goodbye on this live. I'll be back in a sec to sing some songs. And yeah, I'm really going to waffle one. Oh, a bloody stroke. Yeah. Oh, what, blowing? Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Please. Yeah, if that ever happens to me, just finish me off. I mean, I reckon I've probably got maybe 6 years of being able to physically get round this crazy place I've created, and then I just won't be able to get in here or move around. Oh, look at this, an original 1983 Octopussy poster. Octopussy. What a great film that is. All I wanted was a sweet distraction for an hour or two. There's the compressor. That was the whole point of doing this whole live. We've been through that compressor. We're an all-time high. We'll change all that's gone before. Doing so much more than falling in love. We're an all-time high. We'll take on the world and win. That's such a good Bond song on film. So hold on tight, let the flight. I think it was Rita Coolidge who sung that, 1983. We're an all-time high. Right, I'm going to set up, ready to do some singing for you. Tune in a sec for the same location, except with the guitar and the amp on. It's going to be a waffle. See you all soon. Thank you for watching the Farfisa Funk waffling on thing. I think it's like an hour of waffle. We've mixed and mastered it. We're going to be putting it on SoundCloud. Peace and love to you all. Farfisa Funk.